Hi guys, welcome to Scrap Chat. This is actually the second part of my February Scrap Chat. I've been answering questions and I had so many questions about kit clubs that I just decided to put it all together in one video, and then this video that you're watching right now will be non-kit club related questions that I received, and these are all questions that I received. I started keeping track back in September of 2015. So it's been a while. I planned to do this video back then, but stuff kept me from doing it. So here I am, better late than never. And this is the non-kit club related scrap chat for February of 2016. So the first question is, where do I put my layouts? And that's like a really, really good question. I don't know why I don't talk about it more. And I guess it's one of those things where you assume that everybody does it the same way that you do it. And so I do my month in review videos. They were called Out with the Old for a while, and now I'm calling them monthly recap videos. Where I talk about what I did that month and moving on towards the next month. And I never ever say that I'm going to put these layouts in my album now, but I keep my scrapbooking layouts in my scrapbook. So these are my new scrapbooks are these We Are Memory Keepers one, and I showed it on my last monthly recap video. So check out that video if you want to see these We Are Memory Keepers ones in more detail. They're like a really nice leather. They're soft leather. They're probably not real leather, I wouldn't imagine, but they're really bright colors. I have a couple of them and I really like them. They're D-ring binders and they fit a whole bunch of layouts in them. They're really cool. And somebody asked me if I could show my console table, and because I'm doing this on a webcam, I can't drag my computer all the way up there. I did take a picture of my console table. That is my console table where I keep my scrapbooks. But I do have an album flip video that shows this console table in video, and so you get to see it from, just different angles and stuff. So I will link the album flip video that this console table appears in the information section below. It's actually a very inexpensive console table. It's one of those ones that comes in a flat box and you put it together. We bought it at the superstore. It was maybe like $100 or 150 or something. It wasn't very much, but it fits perfectly in my hallway, and it's deep enough to hold scrapbooks. And that's usually the big problem with console tables, is that they're narrow because they're supposed to fit in a small space. So you want to look for one that is deep enough to hold the 12 by 12. So it needs to be a little bit more than 12 by 12. I think these D-ring binders are, hang on, I will measure them. It's 15 inches. It's a little bit more than 15 inches. It's a little bit more than 15 inches, but it can hang over the back if you don't have it absolutely against the wall. So you want a 15-inch deep shelf or a table or whatever. So that's where I keep my scrapbooks. And then I've mentioned in my album flip videos that I do run out of room for that. So that's sort of my most recent, however many fit there. And then the ones that are older than that actually go in the closet here in my scrap room. So old ones just go back there because I just don't have room in my house to store them. The one thing that I will mention is that most of my older scrapbooks are the fabric covers, and if you have animals, it attracts cat hair and probably dog hair like crazy, whereas these leather ones that I just showed you don't attract cat hair at all, and it doesn't stick to them at all. So that's a good choice if you've got pets. All right. So I have a lot of questions about layers that I'm actually going to table these questions. How do I choose what papers to use? How do I choose the order to layer them? How do I choose how much of the paper to stick out? And that sort of thing. Those are the kinds of questions that I will try to make a mental note to just remember to answer or talk about in a little bit more detail in my process videos. I've been really trying to focus on my narrations explaining more of my process and why I do the things that I do. I've always tried to do that, but I've tried to make a specific effort on explaining the layering process because I get so many questions about layering papers and layering embellishments. So I'm trying, and I hope that I'm answering some of your questions. If you and I'm going to try to do more. So just give me a couple of weeks to work on that one. And if you still have questions after that, by all means, I love getting your questions. So I don't mean to insinuate that I don't want to get repetitive questions. I love your questions. So keep asking. If you haven't gotten an answer yet, keep asking, because I will get to you and address it. I want to answer your questions. So then back in September, I got a question from Sue's Fish, and it's a little bit of an embarrassing question, but I'm going to answer it anyways. She wanted to know how I keep my cool with over 14,000 subscribers. And my answer to you, Suze, is that I don't think about it. So thanks for reminding me. I don't. Look, I'm probably blushing now. I really do try to not think about the number of viewers or who's watching or whether a video is going to be viewed as good or bad by the public. The way that I look at it is with YouTubing and process videos is that these videos are free and nobody makes anybody watch. So I make what I want to make. And if you want to watch, I encourage you to watch. And if you have something to say, I encourage you to say it. And if you don't want to watch it, just don't watch it. Like if there's anything that annoys you or that you don't like, or if you don't like my style, I assume that you're not watching if you don't like my style. And so I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. And I mean, I think that that's the only way that you can do it and not drive yourself a little crazy, because there's so many people out there watching YouTube videos that you cannot please everybody. It's impossible. People like long videos, people like short videos. It doesn't matter how long or short you make your video. Somebody's going to say it was too long or it was too short, or you mumble, or they don't like your accent, or they love your accent, or whatever the case might be. You just got to kind of put yourself out there and hope that the people who like what you're creating will find their way to your channel, and the people who don't will find their way someplace else to a channel that better meets their needs. So that's kind of how I do it. I try to not think about the viewers at all, because it kind of does freak me out a little bit, to be honest. So also, I want to encourage you guys to watch to the end or forward to the end if you don't want to hear all this, because I do have a giveaway at the end, because now I recently hit a pretty huge milestone on my YouTube channel, which is that I now have, let's not think about it, 15,000 subscribers. And so I'm going to be celebrating that with a really awesome giveaway, probably my best giveaway ever. And I'm really, really excited about it. So hang in for the end, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what the giveaway is going to be. So I got a lot of questions. So moving on to the next topic, I got a lot of questions about the international students that my family hosts, and questions about how we decided to do it, how the kids like them, and what the experience has been, and what got us into this. So I'll talk about that for a little bit. So it all started actually with our next door neighbors. They have been taking in international students for years, like I think 10 years or more. They've had a lot of students over the years. And we love meeting their students every year and talking to them, and they're different. It's like so amazing. We always really admired them for opening their homes to people from far away and helping them get acquainted with the country and introduce them to Canada and take them around and have them be part of their families. And we just were really kind of blown away at the generosity of our neighbors and really enjoyed meeting the students. And we thought that maybe we would want to do it. And we thought about doing it a couple years ago, and we almost did it. And then at the very last minute, we didn't apply. We just didn't feel like we were ready to make such a big commitment, because, like it changes the whole dynamic of your family. And we wanted to make sure that we were really, really sure before we did it. So we didn't do it 2 years ago, but we did go ahead and do it last year. And we had the most amazing experience hosting this amazing young man who came to live with us. I'm like, I don't want to cry while I talk about it, but I really, really, really miss him. He was awesome. He was like the best. oh dear, this is not what I planned to do. But he was like the best international student that we could ever ask for our first year, because he was incredibly laid back, and he, became part of our family, and we, took him in as our son that we never had. And it was great for Scott to have a boy around the house, because God love him, he's surrounded by women. So, so anyhow, it was a profound experience, just, sharing Canada with somebody who's never experienced Canada before, and his English skills were great already, but they dramatically improved while he was here, and he really embraced Canadian society, or Canadian culture. He started dating a girl. He's still with her now, and it was just an awesome experience. So we've always enjoyed learning about and talking to people from different countries, and we love showing people around our city. So we decided to give it a try, and it was so successful that we decided to try it again this year. So this year we had two amazing girls. One of them we just said goodbye to. She was just with us for one semester, and so we had to think about whether we wanted to have one or two. Our neighbors always have two, and they really encouraged us to get two, because it's nice for them to have each other to talk to and keep each other entertained and go for walks together. And, like, they're teenagers, and my kids are little, so they don't always want to do stuff with us. And so we decided to give two a try, and we loved having two for the first semester. And now we're back to having one. And this year we got girls, and last year we had a boy. So it's kind of very different this year than it was last year. The girls are so amazingly sweet. And what we're finding with the 3 students that we've had so far is that everybody is different. Of course they are. Like, that's not all that surprising, but it's just so neat to get to know a young person so well. So living with someone and interacting with them every single day, you see them on good days, you see them on bad days, you see them struggle, you see them do well, you see them, in all different lights and aspects. And it's just so amazing to have them be part of our life, and to bring new food and new language and new ideas into our home, and to challenge us to think differently, and to, I just can't say enough good things about it. It's not for everybody. I mean, it is bringing a stranger into your home, and not everybody feels comfortable doing that. And I certainly understand and appreciate that. But we absolutely love it. I don't know if we'll do 2 again, or if we'll stick with 1. We like both. It's been awesome. So we're really excited to be sharing our home with Sophia from now until the end of the school year. She's from Spain. At the beginning of the school year, we had both Sophia and Camilla. Camilla was from Italy, and it's just been amazing. It's been such a joy to get to know these girls. They're just great girls. So sweet and kind and generous and awesome. They're just awesome. For us, the biggest challenge has been saying goodbye to these students. So I actually did this layout here about how difficult it is to say goodbye. It was really hard to say goodbye to Camilla this past, 2 or 3 weeks ago that we had to say goodbye to her. And that's the one thing that I wasn't all that prepared for. Like, I'm a pretty optimistic person, and so I was very focused on all the positive things about having these students with us. But saying goodbye is like completely heart-wrenching. So be ready for that if you decide to take the plunge. And I highly encourage you to look at, if you're thinking about doing it, research it and look into different organizations. We went with the NSISP, which is the program specific to our province, but it's the one that operates through the school board. So it's not a private for-profit organization. It's it's part of the public school board here. So they treat the students really well and support them and take them out on outings, and they, regulate the families. And it's really important that if you get involved in an organization, that they have the structure and the support in place for the students, because it can be really hard on a student, and they need to have access to those resources. So far, we've been lucky in that our students have all done well. and haven't needed any extra support or anything, but it's important that there's a system in place in case any problems happen, that the students are well cared for and that their needs are met while they're here. So just make sure that you make a responsible choice if you do decide to go with hosting an international student, for their sake and also for yours. So Jen B asked me how do I photograph my layouts, and she likes to share her layouts online and wants some tips on how to get the best shot. Now, I live in Canada, so I don't get very much great sunshine beaming into my house like some people do in different parts of the world. It's certain days I do, but I can't count on it on a regular basis. So I take my photos in like a little mini photo studio type of a setup, and I think I'm gonna have to do a video in order to show you because well, I guess I could bring some of my supplies over. So the other thing is that I have access to photography equipment that a lot of other people might not have because my husband is a photographer. So you might not want to invest in this kind of equipment just to take pictures of your layout, but I've got another solution for you if that's the case. So hang on and I'll go and get what I use. So the camera that I have is a Nikon D90. It's an old camera. It's a hand-me-down from my husband, and it's a DSLR, and I use a 50mm lens. And what else do I want to say about this? I don't know. It has this trigger on the top of it that just slides into here, and I just leave it like this, and I leave it set to the settings all the time, except for when I do doll photography. This is the camera that I use, and so, but I just know what the settings are, and I just put it right back to it. So it's an ISO of 200, the speed is 200, and the aperture is 5.6. So that's the camera that I use. And then the other thing that I use is this flash and umbrella, like this, and I literally put it like this, but over there. It's not, I don't take my pictures right here, but it's just over there a little bit more. And I have a big piece of white foam board. It's by Elmer's, and it was $1.25 at the dollar store. And I put it right down like this. And then I put my layout on the floor like this. And then I'm short, so I need to get a stool. I just turn this on, and it is set to 35mm, 1/4 and 35mm, whatever that means. My husband set it up for me, and I just always leave it the same because my lights are always the same in here. So I turn on this trigger, which talks to that trigger, and the flash, which is attached to this trigger. Turn them both on. Turn on my camera. Turn on my trigger. Don't forget to take the lens cap off. And I stand like this, and I put my necklace inside of my blouse, and I just go like this. And you just want to make sure I line up the corner of, like the top right corner of my layout with the top right corner of my viewfinder, so that I don't get it becoming like a hexagon. So you want to make sure that all of the edges, the top edge and the bottom edge, are parallel with the edges in your viewfinder, so that when you crop it, you'll get a nice square. So like that. That's what it looks like. And I don't have to fix the white balance or anything in this. It comes out exactly as it looks. So that's what I like about using this system. And then I ditch the stool, and I just get down on my hands and knees and take a couple close shots like this. And if you want to get a picture this is like the worst demonstration ever. I'm so unprofessional. But you want a certain part of it to be crisp and then the other part to be out of focus, what you want to do is press your button halfway to focus, and then you can recompose. That way the focus isn't always right in the center of the picture. So for example, if I want to have the focus be on these speech bubbles and have the stuff, maybe the letters in the background, be out of focus, I just press, I kind of get to the space, the place that I want to be, and then I focus on the speech bubbles, and then I move the camera over a little bit, but I'm holding the button down halfway while I move it, and then I take it, and then what you'll get then is this kind of a shot where the speech bubbles are not in the center, but they're what's in focus, and then this part over here is out of focus. So I'll put these pictures in the video right here so that you can look at them. So, but not everybody has fancy photography equipment. So hang on a second and I'll give you another idea. So this is my iPhone 6, and before I had it, I had an iPhone 5, and this is a really, really, really good camera. Most phones these days have great cameras. You don't have to have an iPhone to take good pictures, but when I do my pocket page spreads, because my whole idea behind Project Life for 2016 is it needs to be really, really easy and really, really fast. So I don't even set that up, and I don't even take any pictures of that. That is just for my 12x12 layouts that I'm doing full process videos for, that are for my design teamwork for Scraptastic. All of my Project Life and my card, I only have one card video. I'm not a card maker, but my one card process video, I only took pictures with my iPhone. And the key to taking really, really great pictures with your iPhone is light. So you can have a light like this one, which is just, I got this at Home Depot. Look at it. It's just this. I have shown these lamps before. I just want you to, there. It's on an arm, and so I can't bring it over to show you, but it just takes a regular bulb. It's just, I'm using it to light myself right now for this video. And I'm gonna need powder again soon. Anyhow, those, it's blinding me now, but those lights are really great. So you can use something like that. Also, I have a makeup light in my bedroom that is like one of those circle lights with a mirror in the middle of it. I tilt it downwards, and that's how I take pictures of my nails with my iPhone. You could put it, if you don't have any of those special lamps, this isn't a special lamp, it's just like a Home Depot, I think it was like $15 or something. It's just put a bright white natural light bulb in it, so that it's really bright. I also have an aught light that you could put. It's this light right here. You can't see it. Sorry. I'll put a link to it or something. But a lot of people have those aught lights. I have it. I set it up right here so that I can do close-ups to show you guys if I need to show you something. My hand there is all lit up instead of, it would be dark if I didn't, because this light provides shadow in that direction. Anyhow, lighting is key for your photos, so put it beside a window, or if you don't have a bright window, put it under one of these lights or a makeup light, or my other idea is put it on your stovetop and put the range light on, and that's a great way to get it too. You just want to make sure that when you're doing that, you're kind of taking a picture down like this, that you don't get the shadow of your phone in the layout. So I'll show you how I do that, because I do it right here. I have a really great light right there that I just turned on with my remote control, but you don't need a fancy big light like that. Any bright light will do. And I just, again, I'm short, so I very, very, very carefully, because I'm old too and I don't want to fall, but I just stand here and I take the photo. There. And I'll post that as well. So that's how I take photos. Okay, so now I wasn't expecting to get a workout. Let me just reapply. See that cute bird there? Stephanie Hart made that bird, and she sells prints of her mixed media work now. check her out. She has an Etsy shop, and she's got some awesome stuff on there. I'm putting that in my house. It's not going to be down here in my scrap room, even though look at how perfect it looks there. It matches with my yellow and my blue and everything. It's perfect, and I love that grumpy bird. But it's going up in my house because I want to see him even on days when I don't scrapbook. So that, I just wanted to say that. So next, Tuesday asked me about my small trimmer. So let me go get it. I think that this is the trimmer that you were talking about. You talked about a small guillotine type trimmer. This is, and you mentioned another brand. I don't remember which brand you mentioned, and I didn't write it down, but this is a Creative Memories one. See, it's Creative Memories. There's the logo right there, and it is very nice and sharp. It's perfect. I love it. You see me use it on my Project Life videos, and it even has a little drawer that you can put some extra photos in. It's really cute. Ranger makes one too, and I've seen it at my local scrapbooking store. So check out your local scrapbooking store or look online for Ranger trimmer or something like that. So my friend Tanya gave me this, and I love it. It's probably one of the best gifts I've ever received with respect to scrapbooking. It's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Tanya. Best present ever. Okay, so that's my trimmer. I got some Caterpillar questions, so let me answer them. The first and easiest question to answer about the Caterpillar crop is, does it have 1/4 inch markings? And it does. The markings are actually engraved, like they're embossed into the surface, and they're 1/4 and 1/2 inch markings, and it's awesome in that way. There you go. And the Caterpillar Pro that I have also has 1/2 inch markings, but I understand that not all versions of the Caterpillar Pro have 1/2 inch markings. I know somebody mentioned to me that theirs does not, so that's very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. This one also, not only does it come with 1/4 inch markings, but it also comes with, see this little ruler that runs halfway through? It came with 2 see-through rulers that you could put anywhere you wanted. So I put mine at 5.5 inches, and it actually has a little ridge, and when I'm cutting a card I can actually feel when the card is right against that and cut it at exactly 5.5 inches, which is the standard size for an A2 card. So that's kind of awesome. I love that, and I wasn't expecting it. People are asking me how I like my Caterpillar crop so far. So far, I love it. It's awesome. Really great. Really great tool. Okay, so Melanie on my Facebook group, Melanie has asked a question. I kind of put a little announcement saying I'm doing a scrap chat in an hour. Any questions? So I got so the rest of my questions are from that, both on Instagram and from Facebook. So Melanie says, what are my top 3 tips for filming process videos in terms of quality and maximum number of viewers? So I don't know about the maximum number of viewers. I think the best thing to do is to create content that you love and that you're passionate about, and you'll get some viewers. I don't know if you'll get the maximum number of viewers, but just make good content that you feel good about and people will watch. That's just my advice on that. As far as quality, the best way to get good quality video is lighting. You need lots of lighting. Like, look at what I've got going on right now just for this. This is my scrap chat, so it's not really the best lighting in the world. That's my lighting just for this video. And then my lighting for other videos is not the greatest at this point. I'm still working on it after 5 years of doing this. So see that light right there? That is a constant light. It's a photography light, and it shines down on my project when I'm working. And what would be better and ideal would be to have I'll talk about that in a second. It would be to have 2 constant lights shining down at like this angle and that angle, and my project being right here. That would be optimal. But when I set up, I just didn't have enough money for 2 lights. I actually didn't have money for 1 light. That was a light that Scott already had that was not being used for something, so I just took it. So yeah. I think lighting is probably my number one tip, is do whatever you can, whether it means setting up beside a window or getting lighting. Even just these Home Depot lights that I talked about before would be fine. I've filmed in different parts of my scrap studio using these lights, and they're fine. I also have two large fluorescent lights on my ceiling, and they each have 4 tubes in them, so that's a lot of lighting. My whole room is quite light when you walk into it, and then I've got task lighting as needed. Lighting is my top tip. My second tip is sound, and I find perfecting my videos is a hobby within a hobby. I love tweaking it, and oftentimes, like the lighting issue, I'm still not happy with my lighting, and people will tell me it's great, or people will complain, or I don't know what other people would say about it, but for me, it's not what I want it to be, so I'm still working on it until I find the perfect lighting situation for myself. I need to buy a second light is what it comes down to. The same thing happened for sound. I'm really happy with sound right now. I have my microphone right here. It's on a boom arm, which means that it doesn't take up room on my desk, which I love. That's a bit of a luxury. You don't really need it for sound quality, but I love that it doesn't have to be on my desk anymore. And I tweaked with the sound. Like, the sound was okay. It was good quality sound, but I still felt like I wanted it to be better. So I got this Shockmount, which means that when I make sounds like this, it doesn't transfer through the arm and into my microphone and make like a heavy, awful noise. And that's actually really important, because my microphone was actually picking up when I pause my narration. I have to click the space bar, and that tiny little click on this little keyboard, it's not a loud keyboard, it's one of these ones, it would still like make a little boom at the end of my video, at the end of my narration clip. So, and then I'd have to cut it off because I don't like that. And anyways, it was causing me a lot of frustration. So for Christmas, I got this Shockmount. It's a Radius 2. And last year, for Christmas, I got my Blue Yeti microphone and the pop filter that goes with it. This year, I got the Radius 2 mount and the Rode arm, which you can only see a portion of it. That's this black thing right here, but it attaches to the back of my desk that you can't really see. But I think I posted a picture of it on, let me get it where it needs to be again. I think I posted a picture of it on Instagram, and so I'll try to link it or find it for you or something so that you can see what it looks like. And I can put the specs in the information section for this video. So you asked for 3 tips. My third tip is preparation. Preparation for me makes me feel better about my videos. I don't know if you guys can tell when I'm not prepared, but I can definitely tell when I'm not prepared, and it doesn't feel good. I always feel nervous the first couple of hours after I post a video that I didn't feel prepared for, because I feel like people are going to like fill my inbox with hate. But luckily, thank you guys, nobody does that. Thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it. Anyhow, what I do to stay prepared is I use this form, and I will link it in the information section below. Although I don't think you're really going to find it all that helpful, but just in case you want to have a look at it, it's really, really specific to my process. So I would recommend that in order to prepare for a video, that you come up with something similar to this. So what I have is, it has like a place where I can put the title for the video, the time that it took to do it, because everybody asks me how long it takes, so I just write it in like right there. And then the kit that I use, just because I do a lot of design team work for Scraptastic, and so I need to know the kit. And then the date that I made it, that's more for my own interest than anything else. And then I have this place here, this big space where I can list all of the supplies. I usually list all of the papers down here, and then all of the embellishments and other things I list right here. I just put an asterisk beside anything that's from my stash, and then I'll put stash up here just so that I remember what the asterisks mean. And then below that, there are all these little tick marks, like places to put tick marks. So photograph, so I put a tick box when it's been photographed. Exporting it to Dropbox, I need to do that in order to have the thumbnails available and those sorts of things. So these are all things that I have to do. Sometimes I have to do a blog post, or I'll post an Insta sneak. And then over here, this is the stuff that really keeps me on track. It, you know, making thumbnails and putting it in playlists and all those little picky things that I need to remember to do that are easy to forget. I just have a list for them. But it's really this section here that makes the quality of my videos. This is all about workflow for me behind the scenes. You guys don't even need to think about this, but this is what makes the quality of the video better, is having all of that stuff right on hand so that I can say it's such and such a paper by Fancy Pants. And then instead of having to, and this is what happened on my very last process video, which was a card process video, because I was making cards and because I was using the Maggie Holmes collection, I thought I don't need to do one of these. It's all from Maggie Holmes, so I'll just do it. But then I couldn't remember the sizes that I cut any of my papers, and I couldn't remember who made the whatever. I can't remember what I kept forgetting even. But it was really choppy from my perspective. I don't know if you guys experienced it as choppy, but I was having to start and stop the narration all the time, and it didn't feel smooth to me. And so to make a good video where you don't have to get up and leave and stop in the middle, being prepared is really, really important. So just know what you want to talk about, as opposed to me right now. I'm not doing that. Anyways, I'm blabbering, but that's okay. So I have a question for you guys. Would you guys like me to make a video about my behind the scenes, like my process of making process videos? Because if you would find that helpful, I'm happy to do it. I think that would be, fun to make. So let me know, and I'll try to figure out how to put something like that together if it's something that is wanted. So that was Melanie's question. Then Vanessa asked me a question. She said, how many times can we enter the 27-day challenge? And I'm actually going to read you my response, because I responded to this question on Facebook, but I didn't put it in a nice enough place. It gets buried under other people's comments. So, I'm going to make it one entry per person. And basically, I want to encourage everybody to push themselves to really immerse themselves in this challenge and, scrapbook as much as they can using this challenge in this month. For some people, just getting a layout or two done is a challenge. But for other people who might be more prolific, they can push themselves to do many, many more than that. And so, like Tracy Ferguson, for example, I just saw on Facebook before I started filming this, she did 15 layouts just this weekend. So obviously she can push herself a little bit more than some of the rest of us. I only did one this weekend, right? So I want to give everyone equal opportunity to win a prize, regardless of how much time you have to scrapbook or how quick you are at scrapbooking. So I don't want to penalize anybody for taking their time or for having other commitments this month. So basically, my short answer is one entry per month. But you're welcome to post as many pictures as you want and share them with me on Facebook and on Instagram and on here on YouTube as well. Don't worry about that. Share as many as you make. Don't worry about being disqualified or anything like that. That's not going to happen. Okay. So then I got a question. I think this was on Instagram from somebody named Jennifer Perkins Cambridge. You have the loveliest name I've ever heard. It sounds like a book character's name. It's so beautiful. You need to buy stationery, personalized stationery with calligraphy that says "From the desk of Jennifer Perkins Cambridge." It's very beautiful. Okay, so anyways, she asked me, how do I get my scrappy mojo back, and do I ever lose it? Oh my God, you better believe I lose it. So I gave some thought to this, and these aren't only my own answers, because I've talked about this in different message forums, like back when 2Ps was around, and just on my channel before. I've asked people to talk about this idea of scrappy mojo and where does it go and why is it never there when we've got time to scrapbook and that sort of thing. So my personal tips are this. First and foremost, take a break. So sometimes we're just overwhelmed with everything happening in the industry. There's political stuff, and there's social media stuff, and there's new products and old products and pressure and all this sort of, it's not supposed to be about that. It's supposed to be about relaxing and having fun. So the best thing to do is, for me, when I'm losing my mojo, is to just take it easy, like remove the pressure and don't scrapbook for a couple of days or however long is noticeable. So, if you scrapbook every day, then don't scrapbook for a couple days. If you scrapbook once a week, then take a week off, whatever the case might be. I have secondary hobbies, so dolls, collecting and customizing pull-up dolls, and I do kind of like a fiction thing with them. That's my secondary hobby, and so that can always kind of fill in the gaps, my creative gaps, so that I can still be creative even if I'm not able to scrapbook that month or that week. I can't go a month without scrapbooking. I just can't. I have commitments, so I can't. But even if I didn't have commitments, I couldn't go a month without scrapbooking. I'd be crazy because I get cranky when I don't scrapbook, so I couldn't go a month without it, or my family would be like forcing me down here and saying, scrapbook. So anyhow, take up pick up something like cooking or whatever you do that isn't scrapbooking and do more of that. Or the other thing that I sometimes do is I just let myself live my life. And I think about, focusing on my family is part of my scrapbooking because I need to have those memories in order to scrapbook. So sometimes just doing something, you'll be, on the sledding hill and you'll be like, oh, I've got a great paper for this. And then suddenly, boom, your mojo is back. So you never know when it's going to hit you. So just let go and do your thing for a while and your mojo will return. It won't be gone forever. I promise you it won't be gone forever. The second tip that I have for you is to switch gears, which is, I guess, sort of the same thing, but you can even switch gears within scrapbooking. So you might be more of a 12 by 12 kind of gal, pick up a pocket page and do that for a change, or do some cards, or, do a mini album, or just do something different. That might help. I get inspiration from books and magazines too. I don't get a whole lot of inspiration online, which isn't to say that I don't see inspiring stuff online. I do. There's lots and lots of inspiring stuff online. But I have a really hard time looking at things online and remembering them. Maybe they get in there and I remember them, but don't remember where I remember them from. But they don't stick with me the way that print items stick with me. So when I'm looking for inspiration, I rarely go online, but I recognize that some people do. So consider that. Maybe go online and look around. That might help. But I'm going to show you what I find really inspiring. So I have 3 sources of print media here that I find inspiring that I want to share with you guys today. So first is this series from scrapbooktrendsmag.com. I don't think they still make these, so they might be hard to find, but I love these. There's one for each person. There's a Kelly Perky one. Isn't she cute? And Elizabeth Karchner and Heidi Swap and Amy Tan. And I'll tell you what my favorite one is Kelly Perky. I'll tell you what I really like about these. They're print, which I mentioned. Print sticks with me for some reason. But what I really like about them is that it's not a whole lot of writing. It's a lot of pictures with close-ups and products that I have because I like these people, so I buy their collections and stuff. And I don't know what it is about it, but I like to look at it. And what I'll do is if I have a crop tomorrow, or if I have an opportunity to scrapbook that I know I'm not going to have a chance like this, like it's an unusual opportunity to scrapbook, I will look at one or all of these the night before just to get myself going, like just to kind of get myself excited and be like, and I probably won't scrap lift any of these, but it'll just kind of get my mind churning, and I'll say, oh, I could do that, but use this other thing instead. Or, oh, I have an embellishment like that, and I never thought of using it that way, or that sort of thing. And it's just like, it's really, really pretty. I just like looking at pretty things. So these books are great for that. And these ones in particular, just because I like these people. So find the people that you like who inspire you and look at their stuff. And if looking online inspires you, look online. But for me, nothing beats holding on to a paper product. I just love paper. This is a French magazine that I like. It's called Entre Artistes Magazine. Probably didn't say that right. Man, I wish I took French. Because look at the goodness inside of this magazine. It's filled with pictures of people's studios and their projects, and it's very European. There's lots of like fresh. As a North American, I find this like fresh. I love this. This is an old one too. It's not new. I used to subscribe, but I couldn't. I bumbled my way through signing up to subscribe to it, and because I don't know French. And then my subscription ran out and they sent me something that I assume was a notice that I need to renew. But I went online and I couldn't figure out how to renew. So this was from April 2014. So I've been unsubscribed for a long time from this. But if I could resubscribe, I totally would. I should just, I don't know, I should get somebody to help me with it or something, because I loved having these come in the mail. And they come I think they were every 2 months. And you just like, I just love looking at magazines. It's too bad so many of them are gone. But anyhow, I think this is still a magazine. And if it is, go get it. If you know French and can sign up, because it's awesome. Then we've got this one, which is, our standard awesome magazine. We've got scrapbook and cards today. The nice thing about this magazine is that you get it free at your local scrapbooking store. And for free magazine, for any magazine, even for a paid magazine, it is very high quality. The paper is nice and stiff. The projects are really beautiful with current supplies. The photography is beautiful in it. Very inspiring. Some of the greatest scrapbookers out there are designing for this magazine. They put on the Crop and Create that I attend every year. And I can't say enough nice things about this magazine. So I like to pick up one of these whenever I can. Magazines are the bomb, you guys. We have to support our magazines. We have to, because we know they will disappear if we don't. So yeah, love these guys because they're awesome. Okay. That's where I get my inspiration from. So my next tip is to get online. Even though I just said I don't get any inspiration online, I recognize that lots of people, I shouldn't say I don't get any inspiration online. I have trouble internalizing and making projects out of the inspiration that I get online. But maybe you're not like that. So if you're not, then go online. My next tip is get off the internet. It's nice. I love giving contradictory advice because sometimes, no matter how inspiring you find some of these things, and here I am online telling you this, but sometimes you just need to disconnect from all that buzz that's out there and just get down to basics and just create something yourself, right? Like there's so many ideas, and with that inspiration sometimes comes pressure or the idea of evaluation, like, oh, I can't do that because it won't look as good as theirs. I was like that with cards for a really long time. I mean, my cards are never going to look like Christina Werner's cards. They're just not. But I needed to stop looking at those sorts of things and just focus on my supplies and me making some cards with what I've got and liking it, no matter, how it compares to anybody else's stuff. So there's the comparison issue that happens with online inspiration, but there's also this idea of just there's so much out there in terms of process videos and share videos and Pinterest and Instagram and Facebook and Periscope and Twitter and all the stuff that I don't even know about. That it can be really, really overwhelming. It can feel like scrapbooking is this really big thing when it's just sitting down with pictures and stories and cutting some things up and putting some stuff together on a page that will go in your album, and your family is really not going to care. I can't emphasize it enough. They do not care if you use Tim Holtz watercolor crayons. They don't. Like, go ask them. I would be very, very surprised if they say, yes, that matters to me. They don't care. So, make it fun, make it enjoyable. If it's overwhelming you, take a big step back and get back to basics and just do something and enjoy it and put it in your book and know that it's for you and nobody else. And it doesn't have to be inspired every single time. Like, it can just be a layout. Like, it doesn't have to be awesome. I try to include my process for layouts that I don't even like, just so that you guys can see that just because I have a lot of followers doesn't mean that I always make the greatest layouts. I don't. I just make regular layouts and they go in my book, and I include the ones that suck because some of them suck and you gotta just kind of take them, right? So that's just my thought on it. So that's all that I think I had to say. Thanks for the question, though. That's a great one. So Scrap Bina or Scrap Benna, I think. I don't know how you pronounce your name, but her name is Jen. So Jen asked me, I think via Instagram, what inspired me to start the 27-day challenge. So I started this challenge with one purpose in mind, and it wasn't actually to be challenged every month. Weird, eh? Anyhow, I started it because I wanted a way to connect with you guys, the viewers, because I've been doing this for over 5 years now, and I have a bunch of subscribers, and I feel like after all this time, I don't even really know you guys because I guess as part of it is because this is not my full-time job. I'm not a professional scrapbooker, so I don't have as much time to engage in all of kind of like the networking that happens on social media. And I'm not saying anything bad about it. I think it's a great thing that we can connect to each other and meet each other and talk and that sort of thing. But I just don't have enough time to do everything that I need to do and be really involved in that way. And I was feeling kind of disconnected from you guys and like, I'd like to know you more. So I thought, what can I do to get people interactive and like talking more on my channel? And I really noticed that there are a lot of limitations with the YouTube commenting system because it's difficult. I mean, technically you can reply to one another, but it's not quite as connected as Facebook is. So I decided to do this challenge for YouTube, and it is a YouTube challenge, but I have a Facebook component to it because it makes it easier for us all to talk back and forth and ask questions and start our own threads and streams of ideas. On Facebook, it just is a better platform for that kind of interactiveness. So, or interaction, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, that's basically what it's all about. And then I also really love the idea of challenges, and I used to do a lot more challenges, but I don't anymore. So I thought, let's just get back into doing challenges, and there it is. So, and so many people have joined. Thank you so much to everybody. I was like really overwhelmed with the response. It's very sweet of you guys to all jump on board and get excited. And oh my goodness, you're putting me to shame. You guys are doing like a lot of layouts. I wish I could be as productive as you guys are. So yeah, then Teresa asked me where I got my name from. So, and not my name, Tracy Banks, because that my mom gave me and my dad, but it's my Mercy Tiara name. So the name Mercy Tiara is an anagram, which means that if you take the letters that spell Mercy Tiara and you mix them up, you get Tracy Marie, which is my name. And there's another Tracy Marie out there who scrapbooks too. Hi, Tracy. But you spell your name different, so you wouldn't get Mercy Tiara the same way that I would. So, okay, a couple more questions. So from ARS Scrappiendi on Instagram, I hope I said that right, says, do I have a feeling for what's in my stash, or do I have to search through everything I want to add if I want to add something to my kit? And she was saying that she felt overwhelmed when she saw the size of my stash and feels like she wouldn't know where to start. That's actually a really, really good question. I think it's important to be familiar with your stash and to know everything you have and to know where it is and to be able to get it like that. And I bet that if you were to ask me to find Amy Tangerine Puffy stickers, I could find it like that. I could have my hands on it in a second. Almost any supply that I have, I could get for you right now in a second. We should do that sometime. That would be fun. I do have a lot, but I know where everything is, and I know what I have too. So if you need a red brad, I got a red brad for you. Red brads. I'm biased, of course, because I'm asking the questions, but we should totally do that sometime. That would be fun. It's important to know your stash, because what's the point of having all this stuff if it's buried and you don't know what it is and you don't know where it's at? So yeah, I don't get overwhelmed with it. I have reorganized and purged and moved around in my rooms and from one room to another so often that everything I have is here for a reason. I don't have anything that I know I'm never going to use. If that's the case, I do have a few things, but they're in a box in my giveaway pile. So the only reason that I have things that I don't use is that we're at the beginning of a challenge period. I'm going to be doing this challenge for a year, I think, maybe more, maybe, I don't know, maybe I don't expect it to be less. But I have a bunch of prizes. So that's the only reason why I have things that I don't use. So yeah, I think that if you're feeling overwhelmed with your stash, you might want to spend a bit more time going through it or organize it differently or purge or think about your shopping habits. Yeah. Yeah. But I understand because I've felt overwhelmed from time to time. Like sometimes I'm overwhelmed with my stamps. I have more stamps than what I could conceivably use. I do plan to give away some of my stamps. Yeah, the idea of going through and finding a stamp to use does kind of overwhelm me. So I think I know how you feel. But yeah, I think it's a constant challenge. If you're always acquiring new stuff, how do you keep it at hand and how do you know what to use? And when I'm scrapbooking, I'm typically looking for a certain thing. Like I'm at the stage where I know I need a certain pattern paper, so I know all my paper. I just look for it right there. Or I feel like I need something with texture, so I just run to my embellishments right there, and I know what I have there, or maybe I think I want something shiny, so I'll grab a brad, something like that, or an enamel dot. So yeah, I pretty much know what I want when I want it, and I know where to get it. So there aren't many parts of my life that I can say that about. So yeah, it's pretty nice. My next question is from Nora, and Nora wants to know if I scrapbooked when I was a kid, and if not, when did I start? So that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked it, Nora. I did not scrapbook when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't really know about scrapbooking. Yeah, I don't think I even knew that scrapbooking existed, although I did know that scrapbooks existed. And at school, sometimes we would have a school project that would involve making a scrapbook, and it would involve using, and I'm going to insert the picture right here if I can find one, but these books that were made out of manila paper. It was sort of like the texture of construction paper, but it was all like a creamy colored. And they were spiral bound with a hardcover on the front and on the back. And you would make these scrapbooks about the pioneers or the Red River Rebellion or whatever the case might be. And you'd cut out magazine articles and photocopies of pictures from encyclopedias, which you probably don't use those anymore. And I really, really enjoyed making those scrapbooks. That was one of my favorite things about school, was making a scrapbook project about something. And then when I got a little bit older and I was at the point where I had my own photos, which wasn't until I was really in university that I started taking and developing my own photos. What I would do is I would cut out the photos and stick them in one of those old-fashioned photo albums that you could probably still buy them today. They've got like that sticky clear paper that kind of peels off of it, and then the paper underneath is sticky. It's like a cardboard with little lines on it. I think they were called magnetic albums, but they weren't actually magnetic. They were sticky paper. And you stick your mom probably has some at home that she can show you. We would stick them, I would cut out my pictures into shapes, like I would cut the person out or a circle or a heart shape or something, and I'd stick it into one of those magnetic albums, and then I'd put a little piece of paper beside it, or maybe this ticket stub from that concert or whatever the case might be. And so I guess you might call those scrapbooks, but they weren't the same kind of pretty creative scrapbook. I mean, they were creative, but they didn't have the same kind of use of stickers and papers and embellishments that we use today. So I didn't really get into that until my kids were little, and I wanted to make them baby albums. So where you keep track of when they crawled and when they sat up and their first words and their first little lock of hair. You could put it in a little envelope and stick it in the book. And I wanted my baby books for my daughters to be something a little extra, like I wanted to have more fun with them because I wasn't at work because I was home taking care of my kids, and I wanted to have like a project that I could work on. So I thought I would get some nice stickers and some stamps and kind of try out this whole stamping thing and the scrapbooking thing, but within the context of a baby album, so or a baby book. So I had a baby book, like the kind that you buy in a store, but I added my own stuff to it, like my own layers of paper and stickers and stamping and stuff. And I had so much fun with it that I just decided to keep on scrapbooking. And after the baby books were done, I moved on and started scrapbooking other projects, like different trips we took. And then I just started scrapbooking everyday life. So that's how I started scrapbooking. So I'm going to throw this question out to you, Nora, and any other young people who might be watching this video. Do you like scrapbooking? And if so, what do you like about it? And what things do you like to scrapbook? What are some of the memories that you like to put in your scrapbooks? And what kind of products do you find fun to use? I'd be really interested in hearing, and I bet a lot of my other viewers would really love to hear from some younger scrapbookers or younger crafters in general. So let me know in a comment below. And I know that you have a YouTube channel, so if you want to do a video about it, just make sure you tag me so I can check it out. So my last question is from Tita Matos on Instagram, and she had a question for me about her layouts seeming to feel like she's using the same design over and over again, and even though she changes it up by using different papers and embellishments, she feels like it's the same thing and like it's boring or not as creative or fun anymore. And so she wanted to know what I thought of that. So I have a couple of thoughts about that. The first is that it doesn't have to be different. Like, you could just keep on doing what you're doing. It's for you. And if you enjoy it, and if you are happy with your pages, then that's all that really matters. Don't feel like you need to do different stuff just because you see other people doing different stuff. Just do what you like. But if you're feeling like you're not enjoying the hobby as much because you're not feeling like you're being creative, then, maybe you might want to take a class, or you might want to scrap lift what some other people are doing. Or classes are actually a really good idea. I don't want to skip over that one as if it's just a small little recommendation. I think that taking a class really gives you a chance to focus on different design principles, especially if you take a design principle class. Chamel used to offer a really good one. I don't know if her Scrapbooker's Guide to the Galaxy. No, A Hitchhiker's Guide to Scrapbooking. Something like that. One of those two titles was a really, really great course. I took it early in my scrapbooking time, and it really helped me solidify my idea of how things go together on a page and how to be flexible in coming up with my own designs. So if that one's still available, check it out. I think it's chamel.com is her website. So check that out because it's a great class. And if she doesn't have that one, she might have another one. I hear that she does really good classes. I've only ever taken that one, but I hear really good things about her classes, so check that out. There's also Big Picture Classes, offers membership now where you pay per month and you can take all the classes you want. So, and I think they might have a free month this month. I don't know. I saw an email recently about that. So check out Big Picture Classes, and there's lots of other classes out there too. Scrap lifting someone else, don't feel shy about just doing the exact same thing that someone else does, including, like, when I was first starting, I would scrap lift bit by bit, like exactly. I would even use the same paper and stuff, especially with the design team for a kit club that I belonged to. I would just do the same thing that they did, and it gives you a chance to just play around with different ways of combining things and not having to think it out. And it just kind of helps you. It's almost like there's a muscle memory for putting things together, and once you get it, it's easier to do it yourself. Practice and be kind to yourself, and take it easy on yourself. It's okay to do pages that you don't love. I do pages I don't love all the time. Even recently I've done a page that I don't love. I think my last page, I didn't really love it, but it was a good memory and I'm glad that I scrapbooked it. So those are some ideas, and maybe some people who are watching this video might have even more ideas for Tita. So if you do, leave a comment below, and if you don't, if you have something else to say that too in the comment section below. That's what they're for. And I'm hoping to do this scrap chat more frequently. I almost feel bad saying that because I say that every time and then months and months go by. But I have a new system for keeping on top of my videos, and it's working for me, and I think I'll share it in an upcoming video. But anyhow, let's see if I can do this more frequently. I'm not going to commit to it, but let's just see if I can. So leave me some questions and I will try to do them on my next scrap chat, which may be soon or it may be later. Take care, everybody, and have a really great scrappy week. And thanks so much for your questions. I really, really love you guys interacting on my channel and asking me questions and giving me feedback. Oh, I need to go find that camera. You guys were right. Look at where the camera is. Thank you. Look. You guys were so right. I don't know how you picked up on that. I watched the video when I was narrating it, and I did not pick up on the fact that this was stuck to my platform, my Big Shot platform. So thanks. I'm going to put this on a project now that I found it. Thank you. Have a really great scrappy week. Hi guys, I bet you thought I forgot about the giveaway, right? I did. So I was planning to do a sneak peek of the giveaway. This is not the giveaway video, so stay tuned for the giveaway. I will be posting it probably sometime between Thursday and Saturday because I work Tuesday and Wednesday, so it won't happen tomorrow or the next day. But I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek, maybe a hint as to what the giveaway will be. So, are you ready? Say cheese. So this is the hint for what my upcoming giveaway is going to be about. It's going to be in celebration of my 15,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to think about that. But thank you to everybody who's subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you subscribe before long because I will be announcing a really great, exciting giveaway that has something to do with this. So, take care and have a really great scrappy week.